The noble nature of knowledge has been revealed through intellect. Intellect is the source and fountainhead of knowledge and its foundation. Knowledge is like the fruit of a tree and it flows from intellect, or like the light of the sun, or like the vision of the eye. Why should it not be honored when it is the cause of fortune in this world and the next? What is there to distinguish between beasts and men except intellect? Even a ferocious beast which has got more strength than man fears a man at seeing him, as it knows that he may put him into a snare on account of his intellect. For this reason the prophet said, just as the rank of the prophet upon his followers, so is the rank of an old man over his people. This is not for his wealth, or for his long body, or for his great strength, but for his ripe experience grown out of intellect. For this reason you find the ignorant near the quadrupeds, and they were about to kill the prophet. But when they saw his noble countenance, they feared him, and there shone on their faces the brilliance of his prophethood, although it was latent in his soul in the same manner as intellect. My object is to show the honor of intellect from the Quran and Hadith. Intellect has been termed as nur or light in the following verse. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light is like a niche. He named benefiting learning arising therefrom as spirit, revelation, or life. God said, thus I have revealed to you a spirit by my command. God said, have I not given life to one dead, and have I not created light for him with the help of which he can mix with the people? Whenever God mentioned light and darkness, he meant knowledge and ignorance. God said he will take them from darkness into light. The prophet said, O people, acquire knowledge from your Lord and advise one another with intellect. Know what you have been enjoined and what you have been prohibited. Know that intellect will give you rank to your learning. Know that an intelligent man is he who obeys God, although his face is ugly, his body dwarf, his rank low, and his appearance shabby. An ignorant man is he who disobeys God, though his appearance is beautiful, his body long, his conduct good, and his speech fluent. He who disobeys God is not more intelligent than an ape or a pig. Don't mix with those who received honor for the love of the world, as they are doomed. The prophet said, the first thing God created is intellect. He said to intellect, come near, and it came near. Then he said to it, go back, and it went back. Then God said, by my honor and glory, I have created nothing in my sight more honorable than you. Through you I take, through you I give reward, and through you I punish. Once a party of men were praising a man before the prophet and praised him excessively. The prophet asked, how is his intellect? They said, we shall inform you after seeking his diligence in prayer and other good deeds. Why do you ask us about his intellect? The prophet said, the ignorance of an ignorant man is more harmful than the transgression of a sinner. On the resurrection day, a man will be raised to the rank of nearness to God in proportion to his intellect. The prophet said, nobody earns a better thing than intellect. It shows him the path towards guidance and saves him from destruction. The intellect of a man does not become perfect, and his religion firm till his faith becomes perfect. The prophet said, a man acquires the rank of praying all nights and fasting all days through good conduct. The good conduct of a man does not become perfect till his intellect is complete, and when his intellect becomes perfect, he obeys God and disobeys his enemy, the devil. The prophet said, everything has a root, and the root of a believer is intellect, and his divine service will be in proportion to his intellect. Have you not heard the words of the sinners in hell? Had we heard and understood, we would not have been the inmates of hell. Hazrat Umar asked Tamim Dari, what is the supreme authority among you? He said, intellect. He said, you have spoken the truth. I had asked the prophet as I asked you, and he had replied as you replied. Then the prophet said, I asked Gabriel, what is the main thing? He said, intellect. Hazrat Bara ibn Azeb said, I ask many things of the prophet. He said, O people, for everything there is a mainstay, and the mainstay of man is intellect. He who among you learns a thing by proof and argument is the best in intellect among you. Hazrat Abu Huraira said, when the prophet returned from Uhud, he heard them say, so and so is such and such. The prophet then said, you have got no knowledge about these men. They asked, O prophet of God, how? He said, each man has got a rank according to the intellect God has given him. Their victory and their hope were in proportion to their intellect, so they reached their different ranks. On the resurrection day, they will get those ranks according to their intention and intellect. The prophet said, "Angels have been earnest and diligent in their obedience to God through their intellect, while the believers among the children of Adam have endeavored to that effect in proportion to their intellect. He who is more earnest in obedience to God's commands is greater in intellect." Hazrat Aisha asked, "O Apostle of God, for what thing do the people in the world get excellence over one another?" He said, "For intellect." I asked, "In the next world?" He said, "For intellect." I asked him, "Will they not get their rewards in proportion to their actions?" The Prophet said, "O Aisha, do they act except in proportion to their intellect? Their actions will be in proportion to their intellect, and they will get rewards in proportion to their actions." The Prophet said, "Everything has got a weapon, and the weapon of a believer is his intellect. Everything has got a mainstay, and the mainstay of man is his intellect. Everything has got a support, and the support of religion is intellect. Every people have got a goal, and the goal of this people is intellect. Every people have got a missionary, and the missionary of the worshippers is intellect. Every merchant has got merchandise, and the merchandise of the diligent is intellect. Every amity has got a permanent house, and the basis of the house of the Siddiqs is intellect. Everything has got a basis, and the basis of the next world is intellect. Every man has got an offspring to whom he is ascribed and mentioned, and the offspring of the Siddiqs to which they are ascribed and mentioned is intellect. Every journey has got a tent for shelter, and the tent of a believer is his intellect." The Prophet said, "He who is greatest in intellect among you is most fearful of God and the greatest observant of what has been ordered and prohibited, even though he does not do many optional worships among you." The Prophet said, "The believer who is most loved by God is he whose sole goal is to obey the commands of God, to admonish his servants, to complete his intellect, and to admonish himself. He who acts according to that for the few days of his life gets success and salvation." Truth about intellect and its division. Intellect is a word which has got four meanings. The first meaning, it is an attribute for which man can be distinguished from other animals. It shows the path to theoretical learnings on mastering the abstract disciplines. Harz ibn Asad said in defining intellect that it is a natural attribute by which theoretical sciences are grasped and understood. It is like a light which falls into the heart and helps it to understand things. He who denies this meaning and limits intellect to understanding only the necessary sciences is wrong, as he who is indifferent to the sciences and he who is asleep are both classed by him in the same rank. They have got this instinct, though they are not learned. Just as life in them helps them to move their bodies at sweet will, so also intellect is so much intermingled with some men that it helps them towards the acquisition of theoretical learnings. Had it been possible that the natural intellect, sensation, and power of understanding of a man and an ass are equal with no difference, then it would have been possible that an ass and a lifeless thing are equal regarding life with no difference. Just as according to natural law, an ass has been helped with life, so according to natural law, a man and a beast have been differentiated in the matter of theoretical learnings by intellect. Intellect is like a mirror which can be differentiated from other things having bodies by their special attribute regarding form and color. This special attribute is a polishuk. The forehead can be differentiated from the eye, as it has not been given the special quality of sight, as in the case of the eye. As there is a connection of the eye with sight, so also there is the connection of this natural quality of intellect with learning. Just as there is a connection of the sun's rays with sight, so there is a connection of Shariat with intellect, with a view to express and spread learning. The second meaning, according to this meaning, intellect is wisdom which appears even in childhood, as a body knows by instinct that two is greater than one, that an individual cannot remain in two different places at the same time, and that a lawful thing is not the same as an unlawful thing. The third meaning, intellect means, according to this, knowledge acquired through experience. Thus he who is taught by experience and schooled by time is called a man of intellect, and he who lacks these qualifications is called ignorant. The fourth meaning, when the natural power of a man reaches such a point by which he can know the result of actions and for which the present pleasure of sexual passion is controlled, it is said that he has got intellect. Such a man is called an intelligent man. Such a man acts not by the dictates of passion but by the ultimate results of an action. The first meaning of intellect is its base and fountainhead. The second meaning is its branch and near the first meaning. The third meaning is the branch of the first and second meanings. The fourth meaning is the ultimate result of intellect and its distant goal. The first two arise as natural causes, and the latter two are acquired. Hazrat Ali said, "Knowledge is of two kinds, natural and acquired. Acquired knowledge is useless without the other. Just as the light of the sun is rendered useless when the light of the eye is closed." The first meaning is understood from the following hadith. The Prophet said, "God has not created anything more honorable than intellect." The fourth meaning is understood from the following hadith. When a man comes close to the doors of religion and good deeds, he comes close to intellect. The Prophet said to Abu Darda, "Increase intellect, then your nearness to your Lord will increase." Abu Darda said, "May my parents be sacrificed to you, how will it be in my case?" The Prophet said, "Avoid illegal things prohibited by God and fulfill the obligatory duties ordered by God. You will then become a man of intellect. Do good deeds, your honor and fame will increase in this world, and you will gain for that proximity to your Lord and honor in the next world." Hazrat Abu Huraira and others went to the Prophet and said, "O Prophet of God, who is the most learned of men?" He said, "The wise." They asked him, "Who is the best worshipper among men?" He said, "The wise." They asked him, "Who is the most excellent of men?" He said, "The wise." They asked him, "Is not he the wise man who is best in conduct, whose eloquence is well known, whose hand is full of charity, and whose rank is exalted?" The Prophet said, "These are the treasures of the life of the world, but the hereafter is for the God-fearing. The wise man is God-fearing, though he is abject and despised in the world." The Prophet said, "The wise man is he who believes in God, believes in his Prophet as true, and obeys his commandments." It appears from this that intellect is the name of a natural instinct. It is, however, applied to knowledge as a thing is known by its fruit. A learned man is one who fears God, as the fear of God is the fruit of learning. Thus the word intellect, if applied to any fruit, becomes like a natural attribute. Knowledge does not come from outside. It lies under intellect as a natural course. It is like water hidden in the earth. If a well is dug, water comes out of it, and no new thing is poured over it. Similarly, there is oil latent in almond seeds and otto in roses. To this effect, God says, "When your Lord took out progeny from the children of Adam from their backs, and then took witnesses, am I not your Lord?" They all said, "Yes." This means the confession of their souls, not a verbal promise by the tongue. God says about this matter, "If you ask them who created you, they would certainly answer God." In other words, their souls will bear witness about it. God says, "The natural religion of God upon which He created men." In other words, the natural religion of every man is upon a thing that he should have faith in one God and know the natural attribute of each thing. In other words, this attribute is latent in him, so Iman or faith is hidden in the heart of every man. Viewed from this angle, men are of two kinds. To one kind of men Iman was presented, but they forgot it and they are unbelievers, and to another kind of men who cultivated their souls and remembered it. These people are like those who forgot a thing after remembering it, and afterwards it is reminded to them. God says for this, so that they may remember, and that those with understanding may remember, and remember the gifts of God upon you and your covenant with Him. And I have made the Quran easy for remembrance. Is there anyone who will remember it? Soul is like a horseman and body like a horse. The blindness of the horseman is more serious and harmful than that of the horse. The power of internal insight is more than that of external sight. Thus God said, his soul fulfilled not what he saw. And thus, I showed Abraham the kingdom of the heavens and earth. The opposite of inner light and insight is blindness. God says, it is not the eyes that are blind, but the souls which are in the breasts. God says he who is blind in the world will be also blind in the hereafter. These secrets were revealed to the Prophet, some through insight and some through sight, and both were called sight. He whose insight is not ripe acquired nothing but the husk of religion. These attributes are called intellect. Intellectual disparity of men, as the lands are of several kinds, so also there is a disparity of intellect in different individuals by instinct. This disparity of intellect in different individuals is also understood from a tradition. Abdullah ibn Salam narrated that the Prophet at the end of a long sermon described the throne and stated that the angels asked God, "O God, hast thou created anything greater than the throne?" He said, "Yes, intellect." They asked, "How great is it?" He said, "Alas, your intellect cannot grasp it. Can you count the number of sands?" They said, "No." God said, "I have created intellect in different minds as numerous as sands. Some men have been given 1 grain, some 2, some 3, some 4, some over 1 fark, some 1 wusk, and some more. This disparity of intellect is found in all its meanings as described above except the second, namely axiomatic knowledge, such as the thing that 2 are greater than 1, that an object cannot remain in 2 different places at the same time, or that a thing cannot be both eternal and originated. Intellect with reference to the 3 other meanings is subject to disparity. With regard to the 4th meaning of intellect, namely controlling power, the disparity of men is clear and evident. For instance, the power of control over appetite and sexual passion is different in different individuals. Even it is different in the same individual at different stages of life. A wise man will be able to overcome appetite more easily than an ignorant and illiterate man. A young man may fail to overcome sexual appetite, but when he grows old, he is able to do it. The disparity is also due to the differences in the knowledge of a subject. Thus, a man having special knowledge of medicines may refrain from some harmful foods while a layman fails to do that, simply because he lacks in medical knowledge. Similarly, a learned man is more competent to give up sin than an ignorant man.